Hello, my love. Welcome back to the Arouse Podcast for another episode. I'm your host, Sam, and here we are for episode number 2 in the Breakup series. So today, I'm talking about how to avoid these abusive red flags in a partner that you must steer clear of. So let's dive into all the tea. Warning, the following presentation is intended for mature audiences. It includes stigma topics like sex, addictions, mental illness, adult dialogue, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Yes, here we go. Episode number 2. Are you ready? Because I'm talking about types of abuse I endured in relationships, and these are some abusive red flags that you must steer clear of if you ever see them in a potential or new partner in the future. And make sure that you stick around to the end because I'm giving you the link for the Breakup Resource Vault, which you can get access to immediately. There's already a couple resources in there, and I will be updating it every single day with a new podcast episode that comes out, as well as every 2 weeks there will be a new resource in there for you. Number 1 is financial abuse. This is a type of abuse where they eventually drain your bank accounts and con you out of a bunch of money. This can look different in a variety of different ways, but some red flags is them forgetting their wallet on various occasions. And then you're just kind of stuck there having to pay for it. They make up excuses on them not being able to pay for it. Another example is their card continuing to get declined when they go and pay for something, and then yet again, you're stuck with the bill to pay for it. They might also give you a sob story to make you feel bad for them in order for you to pay for something or for them to borrow money from you that you're actually never going to see from them again. So they're technically just conning money out of you. This can be avoided if you decide to split the bill and only pay for your meal and set that precedent up at the very beginning, even if you're not really dating this person yet and you're just kind of courting or seeing if there's something there. Making sure that you protect your financial assets is very important. Next is sexual abuse. If you tell them no, whether it's in bedroom or you're talking about things that you guys want to do together and you say no, like I don't want to do that, and they get very upset with you over that, it's a controlling mechanism. But getting down to the physical act of sexually abusing someone, they're just going to do it anyways, whether you say no or yes. And that's not okay because you are in control of your body at all times. And if you say no, they need to respect that. If they don't and they try to cross your boundaries, then, you do need to leave. I've been in situations like this when I told someone several times, no, like you can't do that. Then I got to a point where it's like, hey, if you're not going to listen to me, if you're not going to respect me, I'm going to leave. And so he tried it one more time and I got up, I got dressed, took all my stuff with me, and I left because I wasn't going to let him abuse me like other men in my life have. When I was 17 and I was dating a 19-year-old, he actually raped me. I kept saying no when he was on top of me, and I was trying to fight back and make sure that he didn't take advantage of me, but he was stronger than me and he wouldn't take no for an answer, and so he took advantage of me and raped me. This doesn't just happen if you're courting, if you're dating someone. This can happen in a relationship, in a marriage. I have experienced it myself. You have to make sure that if you say no, they respect your boundary. If they don't respect it in any aspect, it's going to cause problems in the future, and they're not going to respect your boundaries and when you say no to a variety of things. An example of this, my ex and I were driving around in my vehicle and he was starting to just smoke pot in my vehicle. And I got very upset and I said, why do you do that? Like, I don't smoke. I don't want you to smoke in my vehicle. And so you're not going to do it. And the conversation actually flipped and he ended up still smoking pot in my vehicle because he wouldn't take no for an answer. And I didn't kick him out of my truck and leave him where he was, which is exactly what I should have done because it led to so many other problems of him taking advantage of me in a variety of different ways just because he didn't respect my boundary. He didn't accept it when I said no. And this became a problem in multiple different areas of our relationship. Next one is physical abuse. This one can be really tricky because I've experienced 2 different kinds of abuse where I knew exactly what was happening because I had been very blatantly just hit. And then there was other instances we were fooling around in the sense that we were like wrestling and playing in that that way, not in a sexual way. He elbowed me in the face one time. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And then after I had stopped crying and I was feeling a little bit better, he actually said to me, "I wish I hit you harder." It was a way of him to disguise a type of physical abuse where he could mask it in a way that it was an accident, but in reality, he had this villain inside of him that really wanted to hit me, but he couldn't just blatantly come out and beat the shit out of me. He had to do it in a way where we were playing around, wrestling, and having fun, and then just try and hit me there to disguise it so he could still get what he wanted, but without me figuring it out in a timely manner. Verbal abuse comes in many different forms as well. There isn't exactly like a one size fits all with abuse in general, because like I've given already with financial, sexual, and physical abuse, I've given several examples of what that can look like. So there's not like, oh, they do this, it's physical abuse. Like there's so many different kinds, and you really need to have your eyes open, which can be hard because when you love someone, love can be very blind in that fact. And that's where I was stuck as well, where I was like, oh, they would never hurt me. And that was an accident. And I made a lot of excuses rather than opening my eyes and seeing the actual truth that no, they hit me, they hurt me, they were doing all these bad things. And so with verbal abuse, there's a variety of different ways that someone can verbally abuse you, whether they're yelling at you, they're screaming at you, they belittle you and make you feel small, they place blame on you to take it away from themselves when it actually is their fault, but they won't take responsibility. So then they make you the scapegoat and they blame you. They accuse you of things. So remember in episode 1, I was talking about how my one partner would accuse me of cheating on him all the time when I was never doing that. He never had any evidence or proof that I was doing this. And so he did verbally abuse me by blaming me and accusing me and belittling me to be a cheater when I wasn't. It can be something as small as that you think isn't a big deal, but it is a type of verbal abuse. There also is mental and emotional abuse. This one I've put together because there's quite a few signs and symptoms that are very, very similar, and you can do more research on the different types of abuse. There's so many different examples on the internet, and I'm not going to go through every single one because I'd be on here for probably at least a couple hours. So if you want more information about different types of abuse, you can definitely go on Google and search it. I will link a couple articles in the show notes as well that I have used for resources for myself and for my clients, but it's also important for you to do some research as well. With being post-breakup, you can look back at these relationships and see, okay, I did experience this type of abuse, and recognizing that so you can heal from it. With mental and emotional abuse, there's different types like digital spying and checking old conversations, giving direct orders, using others and telling them that you're crazy after your breakup. That's a very manipulative thing. They tell you that you caused their anger, and then they can't quote unquote like function properly, so then they don't end up going to work, and they place all this blame on you. They don't take responsibility for anything of their own actions. And so they're putting all this mental and emotional abuse on you. The last one I'm going to talk about is the use of technology to check up on someone. I did say there was digital spying in mental and emotional abuse, and like checking old conversation was an example. Using technology to check up on someone is a very controlling and manipulative type of abuse where if you're not answering your phone, which most people have a cell phone now. Years and years and years ago, when there weren't no cell phones, there were just landlines, whether you were at work or home, and that was the only way that someone could get a hold of you, whether just dropping by your house. With cell phones now, if you're not answering your cell phone or you're not answering them on any of your social media accounts, they need to get a hold of you. They're going to try and call you at home if you have a landline, or call you at your place of work. And this is one thing that one of my exes did, is I wasn't answering my phone. I was busy at one of my jobs, and he ended up calling the office, talking to one of the receptionists to get a hold of me, and I literally just picked up the phone and I'm like, is everything okay? And he was like, oh, well, you weren't answering your phone. And I'm like, no, because I'm busy. Like, I'm having lunch right now with some colleagues. So no, I'm not on my phone. He was like checking in on me and making sure that he knew where I was every moment that he could. So using technology to check up on someone can be a way to keep tabs, know where your whereabouts are at all times. And that's a very abusive red flag if they're trying to check up on you and ask you like, where are you? Like, or when are you going to be home? And like keeping tabs on you that way is so unhealthy. It's different when it comes from a space of love, when it's like, oh, well, do you know when you're going to be home? Because, making dinner and I'm just wondering if you're going to join me. Like, that's different when they do it out of care and love, but someone that's like, where are you going? Like, who are you going to be with? How long are you going to be out? Like, where are you going? Like, I need to know all the places and you need to text me every time you leave, or like, that's very controlling. Be very aware and weary of people that do this to you, because that is not the type of energy, that is not the type of person that you need to be in a relationship with. I don't tell my clients, you shouldn't do this, but this is a time that I'm telling you, whether you're my client or just someone that listens to my podcast and you enjoy all my free content, be very weary of all of these types of abuse. And if someone shows signs of any of them, stay clear of them, because I have been in situations and relationships where pretty much all of my partners have done one or more of these, and they were all shitbags. So I can, from personal experience, tell you to avoid anyone that shows any signs or symptoms of these types of abuse, because you don't want to get stuck in a toxic or abusive relationship. I've been there. I've suffered all the pain, aftermath of getting out of those, and I don't want you to go through the same thing. So please stay weary and stay away from all these type of people that show any signs of this. And I'm going to repeat myself again over this. If you haven't talked to someone about you being in a past toxic or abusive relationship, I really encourage you to do so, because you need to talk to someone about it. Bottling up your emotions or keeping it to yourself because you might feel embarrassed, ashamed, or guilty that you brought it upon yourself, because I thought that too. You need to talk to someone about it. Whether you did play a part in it, because I've been there where I let my boundaries slip and I let someone treat me that way. And yes, I was partly responsible, but that person also chose to abuse me because they were an awful person. You deserve to tell someone about that so you can let that go, so you can heal from it, move on, call in someone who actually loves you, someone that is going to treat you with love and respect all the time, accepts you for every single part of you, whether it's your flaws, your strengths, everything, accepts you for everything that you are. You really deserve that. Please talk to someone, whether it's a friend, a family member, a psychologist, another mental health professional, whether it's just your family doctor. Please talk to someone, because you don't deserve to suffer in silence, and you need to tell someone about this. Whether you're going to charge them or if you just want to move on with your life, it's important to talk about it. We don't need to live in a society where women suffer in silence, whether it's from a miscarriage or an abusive relationship. Whatever it is, you deserve to be heard, to be seen, and to be listened to. Or if you're not ready, talk to yourself about it, journal about it, or have these conversations with yourself, just talking about it and speaking out loud. And I can guarantee you're not crazy. I have these conversations with myself all the time. I'm not crazy. And you're not either. But seriously, move through what happened by talking to yourself, talking to someone that's close to you, or talking to a health professional, so you can get this out. I promised you the link for the Breakup resource vault, so here it is. It is bit.ly/breakup vault. So once again, that's bit.ly/breakup vault, and I will leave the link in the show notes as well for you to sign up. It is 100% free. There's already a couple resources in there, and every 2 weeks, after the Breakup series on the podcast is done and all those episodes are in the Breakup vault, every 2 weeks I'll be adding a brand new resource for free inside there for you with an update through an email. So make sure you are signed up for email communication with me, so you get my email newsletters and you are always updated on what's new in the Breakup resource vault. I can't wait to see you in there. I love you so much, and I will see you tomorrow for episode 3.